You're being ridiculous and you know it. Now you're snowflakes.
I'll come back
Trump
to you,
is the
Cenk.
most vicious
All I would say
politician
is,
of our lifetime.
Ben, I'm about to kick your ass. Don't gish gallop.
I'm cringing
hang on,
Ben.
You focus solely on how does Trump make me feel when I go to sleep at night. He doesn't like women.
The Democratic Party is filled with hate. Harris and her team are filled with hate for half of America. That's how you don't win an election.
Okay, let me
ask lose.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to be watching more Democrat cope, seethe, and desperation with our boy Chunky Yogurt, who is now becoming, honestly, just a journeyman, getting his ass handed to him once again. And Wajahat is back as well, our other favorite Democrat. And today, Wajahat is doing some tough talk. So this one is a doozy, and with that, let's get into it.
Let me start with you, Ben Ferguson. It's been a tough couple of days for Donald Trump ever since the rally, which I was at Madison Square Garden, where they're on the back foot trying to defend what this comedian Tony Hinchcliffe has said about Puerto Rico being an island of garbage. And it must have felt like literal manna from heaven last night when Joe Biden suddenly appeared out of nowhere in his bunker on a Skype call, of all things, right as Kamala Harris was presenting her final plea to the nation, and he calls basically every Trump voter in America, so 80 million plus people, garbage. Your thoughts?
Look, in politics, the last week of a campaign, your surrogate's job is to do no harm. And Joe Biden went out there and said something that was just unconscionable. And if you're going to say you're outraged by a comedian, and I didn't like what he said either. I think most people were pretty, bang on with what you and I saw. Like, come on, like, don't say that. I disagree with it. And it was a bad moment for the campaign because now you're not talking about the issues in that moment. But when he walks out there and he says that Americans are, as he describes it, floating garbage, that's the gift that just keeps on giving. But when you connect the dots, like as much as people say that he's senile and obviously had to drop out of this race, look at what the Democratic Party has said, that, conservatives cling to God and they mock God and guns. You have, Kamala the other day saying you're at the wrong rally when someone says something about believing in Jesus Christ. And then you've got the basket of deplorables by the way, Donald Trump's Hitler in the last week, and that he's a fascist, and that Kamala Harris believes he's a fascist. If this is your closing argument to the American people, that we truly hate half of this country, and we think that you are deplorables, that you are garbage, that you are fascists, that you are Nazis, that you are Hitler, I don't think that's the closing argument that the Democratic Party or any strategist would say, yes, this is what you should be saying in the last days. And I think this could literally cost them not just the presidential. I think this could cost them the Senate, and I think it could cost them some House seats as well, because it is the worst things you could say about half the country going into the final days. You're supposed to have some hope. I mean, Barack Obama, remember, why did he win? He won because he ran off of hope and change. There was some unity in his message. It was hard to land punches against him when he was running against McCain. And people felt like he was going to bring the country together. Kamala Harris is doing the complete opposite of that. I don't understand it. It's inexplicable to me that this is their campaign strategy.
Let me acknowledge things that are true. So, number one, Biden shouldn't have said it. Look, my co-host on the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, has been trying to get everybody to stop attacking the voters themselves. I think she's absolutely right about that. I've been guilty of that in the past, and we're trying to get past this. So Biden shouldn't have said that. On the other hand, Biden's senile. I mean, look at that clip that you played, stuttering up Puerto Rico, Delaware, and we're still. You guys said he was senile and should get out of the race. Now you're like, oh, no, he means it. He's perfectly cogent. He represents all Democrats. So
well, hang on.
By the way, don't say things like, okay, here we go, of course. Just to be clear. Ben speaks for 2 minutes, and I always get interrupted.
No, you'll have plenty of time. But just to be clear, he remains the president of the United States. Joe Biden hasn't quit. He remains in the Oval Office running your country. So I'm sorry to jump in and point out that we may think he's senile, which I do, but he's still running your country.
Okay, Piers, you know my position on Biden. I ran against him because I thought he was senile and I thought it was ridiculous. But now all of a sudden you're pretending he's not senile. He is senile. It's
No,
like
I'm
getting
not
mad at
pretending
somebody
that.
with Alzheimer's. What are you getting mad at him for? What? That's ridiculous. But that's not the point, guys. Look, I'm granting you that he definitely shouldn't have said that. And Debbie Dingell definitely shouldn't have said internment camps because Trump never said that. Now, having said that, guys, are you really pretending to be offended after you've supported Donald Trump, who has said everything in the world about left-wing voters, radical left lunatics? Hey, here we go again. No interruptions. He's called them radical left lunatics, Marxist, communist, fascist. He said that we should use the military to attack the enemy from within. And then you're pretending that all of a sudden you caught feelings?
Not pretending.
MAGA, do better than that. You're being ridiculous and you know it. Now you're snowflakes. Now you're snowflakes.
So, guys, we must stop the tape here and we must point out the obvious. And obviously, it goes without saying, but Cenk Uygur criticizing somebody else for being a snowflake is like Jeffrey Epstein criticizing somebody else for being a predator. And I think we have enough body of evidence on this channel alone, actually, to clearly demonstrate that Cenk Uygur's level of emotional control is something that should be put under a microscope and actually studied if you want to figure out the concept of what it really means to be a snowflake.
You better shut up. You better not say any of those gross things that you always say.
You see, being a snowflake means that you get really triggered by words. You're sensitive when it comes to ideas and unable to have a civil conversation without becoming overly emotional. And Cenk really ticks all the boxes there. And with all this stress that Cenk puts himself under, I actually do worry about him. And so this is why I'm going to extend an olive branch here and I'm going to offer some advice to Cenk about how to keep himself young. And so with that, I'd like to introduce the sponsor of today's video, Tiege Hanley. Gentlemen, as we steadily march towards our peak years, it's important to be having a good skincare routine. If it can polish a turd like me, it can work for you. Now, I recommend that you start with the level 1 system. It comes with all the basics, like the daily face wash to get all of that dirt and grime out of your skin. Then you've got your scrub. You do this one 2 times a week to get rid of all those dead skin cells. We've also got our AM moisturizer, which you guessed it, is for the morning, and it comes with SPF 20 to keep you armed and dangerous against that sun. And what do you know? Your PM moisturizer keeps your skin healthy and hydrated throughout the night. And what I really love about Tiege Hanley is that because I don't have any idea what I'm doing with skincare and I don't have a girlfriend, it comes with a how-to manual. It tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. It is a godsend. Their products have made my skin look and feel better than ever, but you don't have to just take my word for it. They have over 7,000 5-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers around the world. And this is not something you want to put off because prevention is key. Get ahead of any signs of aging now and your future self will thank you. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring the video, they are offering Rattlesnake TV listeners an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get a whopping 40% off your first skincare system and a free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll also get 20% off for life. And by the way, both gifts that you're choosing from are a $20 value and are both absolute game changers. A silicone body scrubber and also a face and nail grooming kit. My favorite is the kit because you get a little leather pouch with it, and also this is the best nail clipper you will ever use. Proper steel, these things won't break on you. So gentlemen looking to start your skincare journey, or ladies looking to get a great gift for a lovely gentleman, hit that link in the bio and start your skincare journey with Tiege Hanley.
After all,
All right, let me bring, okay. Hang on, don't all shout. Let me bring in Emily. Let me bring in Emily. Emily, apparently we're snowflakes if we're offended by Joe Biden calling 80 million Americans garbage. I don't think that's snowflakery. I mean, I do remember for the last 3 days, all I've heard is Democrats screaming.
You're all ignoring all the things Trump has said.
No, hang on.
You guys are so nuts.
Cenk, if I just say, I'll come back to you,
Trump is the most vicious politician of our lifetime.
The way
now
Democrats,
he's like pure as the driven snow.
Wait a second. The way Democrats have pivoted. Hang on, the way Democrats have pivoted in the last 3 days from garbage is the worst slur imaginable to just because Joe Biden calls 80 million Americans garbage, suddenly, why are you getting so offended, is laughable. Emily, to you.
Okay, let me make something clear. The Republicans are not snowflakes, and since Biden called the Americans who support Trump garbage, all I've seen on X are memes of people going to vote now in garbage bags, memes of people putting trash cans on the street and saying it's a family portrait. Republicans are not snowflakes, and truth be told, I don't think anyone's offended because, yes, our sitting president, who has nuclear codes, is a senile old man that, let me remind everyone, Kamala literally 2.5 months ago was endorsing him and reminding everyone that he is sharp as a tack. But here's the issue. It doesn't speak to the Republicans. It's showing the American people, despite Harris Walz claiming they're the party of unity and they're for everyone, and yes, Harris is a continuation of Biden, who's failed as a president, they claim to try to unite everyone. But then the sitting president goes out and says, oh, you all are garbage. We don't care what he says. He's delusional. But it speaks to their character, it speaks to their party, and it speaks to their values.
Bingo.
And that is a problem, that they're showing the American people their true colors. Republicans don't care. Call us garbage.
How about
call
your
us
values?
deplorables. We just want our president in office.
Okay,
Let's talk about
Vajra, I mean, look,
How about
I
your
think
values?
whatever.
All,
hang
all
on,
Trump
Cenk. I'll
does is
come back to you.
attack us
No, no, Cenk, let me-
1,000 times, and you
We don't
totally
call you
ignore
Hitler.
that.
We don't
Hang
call
on,
you
let me
Hitler.
bring-
We don't say should
Guys,
we go
let
to
me-
camps for
hang on,
re-education.
He's
hang on.
called us every name in the book.
Interrupting
He
now.
Hang
has.
on,
He's
we're
called
coming
us
to Hitler.
fascist. He's called us Marxist.
Coming to Hitler.
So, for some context about what Joe Biden says, here is the clip.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable.
So, interpret that how you will. I mean, maybe he was talking about specific MAGA supporters. Maybe he was talking about the whole bunch. I don't really think that Joe Biden even knows what he's talking about. But at this point, would you be surprised if he was talking about all MAGA supporters? I mean, I know I certainly wouldn't. They've called them Nazis recently.
Donald Trump chose the historic Madison Square Garden, where history can't hide the hosting of a Nazi rally in 1939. At that time, it was a gathering of American Nazi sympathizers. At this time, Trump's opponents are drawing a parallel between the past and present.
Hillary Clinton called them the basket of deplorables.
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
And so much else. And I really do believe that they resent the average American. I mean, they don't care about their safety, their national security, the cost of living crisis, or even maintaining the basic trust in fundamental institutions. So I just think that the liberal sort of urban establishment swamp creatures have a genuine contempt for MAGA supporters and also for middle America, blue collar workers, for the Christian base.
Quote, a closing carnival of grievances, misogyny, and racism, a release of rage, end quote. And this, quote, a vivid and at times racist display of the dark energy animating the MAGA movement.
And I think they see them as backwards and unsophisticated and just an obstacle in the way of their utopian, multicultural, godless liberal society. I mean, they had absolutely no worries destroying the manufacturing base in America and really tearing at the fabric of middle America and selling them out to big corporations in China. They spend billions and billions of dollars on illegal immigrants and foreign wars whilst not helping out their actual citizens at all. So the rhetoric we've seen lately doesn't surprise me at all. I think it's pretty clear to me, and let me know what you think about this in the comments, but these people just resent the ones that they're meant to serve. And so on to the next bit now, where Wajahat comes in with some big tough guy threats.
We're coming to Hitler, which is now only the second most offensive thing of the week. Wajahat, from a political point of view, the stupidity of what Biden did can't be overstated, really, because Kamala Harris, I watched it last night. Look, I think she talks a lot of word salad nonsense. Honestly, I do. She wouldn't inspire me to open a crisp packet, let alone vote for her. However, she's the Democrat nominee. The polls are absolutely neck and neck, particularly in the swing states. The very last thing she would have wanted when she's presented her final argument to the nation is for Joe Biden, the guy she's replaced, who's still her president, to pop up on a Skype call of all things and say this kind of thing, which, whether it's been misinterpreted or not, and I don't think it has been, it's just such a gift to Republicans, isn't it?
This is me playing the world's smallest violin for all the fake outrage of MAGA and Trump supporters, who I believe are the most fickle, brittle, weak people on earth, who can dispense cruelty and demand civility, who hate safe spaces for everyone, want safe spaces for themselves, and who, by the way, with this hypocritical fake outrage, the reason why I don't think most people will care is because people know what Trump is for the past 9 years. And just yesterday, Donald Trump, who is running for president, Joe Biden is not, and Joe Biden, he's 81 years old, he has a stutter, and by the way, I appreciate the context that he gave. I don't think he needed to, but he did. Donald Trump yesterday, final pitch to the country. You know what he called America? A garbage can. Donald Trump said all of us, 340 million Americans, live in a garbage can. Yes, he did. Yesterday in his speech, he said America is a garbage can. Yesterday, Donald Trump said Democrats, who are the majority, are sick and evil people. Yesterday, folks, Donald Trump, when confronted
calling people
with these
Hitler,
offensive comments,
context. If you talk about context,
let me finish,
context.
Ben, don't gish gallop. Ben, I'm about to kick your ass. Don't gish gallop. Just listen to me. I listen to you.
Well, you all are just really tickled by that, aren't you?
Dude, you're like a buck 20, and this is what liberals do, okay? I laugh this.
Just let me listen. I'm going to do it with a smile on my face.
Hang on. Calm down.
Beat you up.
Don't talk over each other because people can't hear. But I do really. Hang on. I do want to see. Hang on.
I'm cringing.
Hang on, Ben. Hang on.
Just a quick interruption, guys. If you enjoy watching Chunky Yogurt get triggered, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel because we show plenty of that here. Back to the video.
I do want to see Vajahat try and kick Ben Ferguson's ass. So off you go, Vajahat.
Not going to happen.
All right. I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. I'm going to do it relaxed. Yesterday, when Donald Trump was confronted with, I'm glad you and Ben and Pierce agree that it was horrific, disgusting comments against Puerto Rico, black people, against Jews, against Palestinians, against women, which, by the way, have rallied Puerto Ricans all across America. You know what Donald Trump said? No big deal. Yesterday, this past week, J.D. Vance said, get over it. J.D. Vance, his vice president, is the one who called him Hitler. By the way, guess who said that Donald Trump praises Hitler? Four-star General John Kelly, just in the past 2 weeks. In the final 2 weeks of his campaign to unify America, you know what Donald Trump said? That the people who are against him are enemy of the people, another Hitler line, and he said he would unleash the military and the National Guard against U.S. citizens, against immigrants and migrants. He said he will invoke the Alien Sedition Act that in turn Japanese Americans. This is the same man who ran against, the same man who promoted a neo-Nazi conspiracy about Haitian immigrants eating pets, even after he was told it was a lie. The Wall Street Journal, funded by Murdoch, not a left-wing rag, a right-wing outlet, reported that him and Vance were told it was a lie. He still said it, which has caused stochastic terrorism in Springfield, Ohio. So this is Donald Trump. The majority of people don't care. The majority of people know Biden apologized. He stuttered. And the majority of people saw Kamala Harris at the ellipse. 75,000 people came. You saw the last point. Last point I'll make. Last point I'll make. 75,000 people came out to see Kamala Harris at the ellipse. I'm so glad she was at the ellipse because you know why? It's a contrast. Kamala Harris was there for the Constitution, for the United States of America, for the rule of law. Donald Trump incited a violent insurrection. And just 2 weeks ago at Univision, when the 56-year-old Latino construction worker asked him to apologize for it, he didn't. And you saw that view of those Latino women. He is going to lose. I'm here for the MAGA tears. There's sugar for my chai.
Lesbian? Homosexual? How can I describe you?
Okay. He said for the MAGA tears, Ben. Are you prepared to start crying?
I go back to, and this is why I feel like it's going to be a very strong election night. There's nothing that was just talked about that matters to the people that are hurting and suffering in this country right now. Nothing that was just said there was unifying. Nothing that was just said there was about the concerns of people that are struggling in this country with inflation, with illegal immigration, with convicted terrorists coming across the border, with those that are convicted of murder and rape that are coming across the border. There is zero concern for the American people in your closing argument. And this is the reason why Donald Trump will win on election night.
Ben,
because when your only thing you can do and come out and say is, if I disagree with you, I'm going to kick your ass, which, by the way, goes back to what you guys do. We don't like you, we lock you up. We imprison you. We put you in prison.
Ben, do you agree with Donald Trump?
And then you're like, I don't like, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, this is your closing argument. You guys need to, like, get out of junior high.
I wasn't the one. I didn't participate in a violent insurrection, Ben. I didn't participate in a violent insurrection.
I denounced it when it happened. So guess what? We're not all, see, this is the difference.
Okay, wait.
You guys hate half of America. And you don't understand that your hatred is saying everyone is bad when one person or two people do something.
Donald Trump hates all of America.
Gentlemen, let's let the lady speak. Emily?
Please,
Thank you, boys. The problem is that I think the Democratic Party, they're way too emotional about this election. And it's funny that Wajah's calling the MAGA people the sensitive ones. When you cry over misgendering someone, when a dude looks like a dude and identifies as a woman and is called she, you start crying. So don't talk to me about oversensitivity. That's a definition of the Democratic Party.
Yes, homophobia and
yes,
go after the transgenders.
You guys have TDS syndrome. You don't understand that this is not about emotions. Ben just said it perfectly. Every single argument that the left uses against the right are not real factors that impact the American people. They're not factors that keep America safe. It's nothing that helps the economy. You focus solely on how does Trump make me feel when I go to sleep at night. He doesn't like women. He made a joke about a black person and a Jew and a Muslim and a Christian. Listen to me, that comedian, you guys are pretending suddenly everyone cares about Puerto Rico, but when they were after a hurricane, no one gave a damn about them. But let's just forget that for a moment. This comedian makes fun of everyone. So talk about selective outrage. That joke caused selective outrage because he literally rips every demographic of people. And let me tell you the difference. This comedian is not our sitting president. When the sitting president calls half of America garbage, that's a bigger problem than a comedian who rips every group of people speaking at a rally. Do me a favor, selective outrage. You guys can't stop crying nonstop about your TDS.
Whoa, guys. We have got a tough guy on our hands here. Wajah, calm down, brother. Wajah, I reckon he's going to kick some ass over here. But imagine saying that you're going to kick some ass and then closing your statements with MAGA tears are sugar for my chai.
Ben, I'm about to kick your ass. Don't gish gallop. Just listen to me. I listen to you. I'm here for the MAGA tears. They're sugar for my chai.
And then imagine saying you're going to kick some ass and then getting your ass handed to you twice and once by a girl. So another demolition there. But just on the Tony Hinchcliffe situation, I'd like to give my 2 cents worth, for what it's worth anyway. I absolutely love Tony Hinchcliffe. I think he's hilarious. I watch Kill Tony all the time. In fact, I even went and saw him live in Austin in March, and he is a roast comedian. That's what he does.
Tom is afraid of the Giants, which is why Kevin Hart is hosting tonight. All night, he's been using the stool that Aaron Hernandez kicked out from under himself. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting.
Strange timing by the Trump campaign, putting him on at the start. I don't know what they expected. It actually wasn't his best performance. Wasn't that funny compared to what he normally does? I mean, he was unbelievable at the Tom Brady roast, for example. And every week on the show, he's very funny. But just the level of snowflakery, because that's the theme of today's video, snowflakery, that we have seen after this is incomprehensible. And this just nails the point home that the Democrats and liberals are just total snowflakes. It was a joke by a comedian. Comedians make offensive jokes.
Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
We have lost our sense of humor so much, and that's probably why people like Trump so much. It's because he's actually funny, and you feel like you can relate to him and have a laugh. And if you met him one-on-one, he'd probably be a pretty cool dude. But Kamala Harris, she didn't even attend the L. Smith roast. I mean, yes, it's serious and everything, but at some point, have some fun with it as well. I mean, it's so pathetic to see. Anyways, on to the last bit.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the point about Tony Hinchcliffe is... Hang on. The point about Tony Hinchcliffe, if you watch the Netflix Tom Brady roast special, he is the star of that roast. He says stuff that makes what he said at the Madison Square Garden seem like a tea party. I mean, he is an offensive roaster of absolutely everyone and everything. And nobody seemed to mind when he was doing it in a Netflix special, which is still available.
They loved
Tom Brady's roasting. Everyone found him hilarious. And my point to you, Cenk,
did it fit any political agenda?
Jon Stewart, of all people, came forward and said, I'm sorry, I find this guy funny. And I wonder how many of the people screaming about Tony Hinchcliffe's jokes quietly found him quite funny. I didn't particularly, but a lot of people would have found his humour funny if they know he's a roaster. But I'm feigning outrage. And then the moment Biden, who is the president of the United States, uses exactly the same word to slur 80 million Americans, suddenly we should all stop being offended. We can't have it both ways.
Yeah, so first of all, I respect Jon Stewart. So when he said he likes him as a comic, fine. But you're wrong about one thing. He slurred all of those minorities. You're right. But there's one group he didn't touch at all: white people, and men, and MAGA. Huh? What a funny coincidence from a brave roaster. So you're in front of MAGA, you don't roast them at all. All you do is roast people you don't like. Interesting. Okay, so now, but guys, this whole getting offended shtick that both sides are doing is maddening. There's a slight agreement there with Ben on, that I have on that. So
wow.
After Trump does every insult in the world, you guys now are pretending that, oh my God, I caught the vapors. He called us garbage. After Trump, you loved when Trump said all these terrible things. So look at what actually is going on. Why is Kamala Harris pointing out at the end that Donald Trump is a unique danger? Because if you're being honest, he is a unique danger. You don't have to go to internment camps. You don't have to go to Hitler analogies, etc. But when the guy says that the left is the enemy from within and he might use the military on them, and there are his own advisors who said, yes, we had conversations in the White House where Trump asked us if we could use the military to shoot protesters in the leg, which, by the way, shooting protesters, it doesn't get any more cancel culture than that. And he said after he lost that we should terminate the Constitution. If that's not a unique danger to the Constitution and the democracy, what is? And if you say we shouldn't point that out, we shouldn't point out that a guy wanted to terminate the Constitution and shoot the protesters with the U.S. military, and you don't get why that sounds like, and fill in the blank, fascist, dictator, wannabe, whatever word you want, but that sounds super dangerous.
This is the problem. This was not corroborated by people in a large group. The majority of people around Trump said that what you just described, including the comments from last week, never, ever happened. And the people that say it are people that hate Donald Trump. So that's number one. Number two, I look at what he did in office.
Their own staffers.
He didn't start wars.
It's his
he didn't start wars. Let me finish. He didn't start wars. He ended wars. He had the lowest unemployment for Hispanic Americans and African Americans in history. He had interest rates down in 2+% on a 30-year mortgage. He had inflation down. People could afford to live. And I go back to the closing argument theme here. Piers, if this is what Democrats want to talk about till Election Day, 6 days from now, then knock yourself out, because you're going to lose, because none of this is about the suffering of Americans in this country right now. None of it's about safety. None of it's about ending wars. None of it is about the people that are hurting, living paycheck to paycheck right now. And that is what Donald Trump is talking about here. And the Democrats are saying we hate half of America. You're garbage. The president of the United States of America is saying it. The vice president is saying he's a fascist and Hitler. If that is your closing argument, you are going to lose. And I go back to Barack Obama. Barack Obama understood retail politics. You have to give something that makes people think about a future that's better than it is right now. When he went on Hope and Change, yes, it was rhetoric, but it worked because it gave people hope for the future. And this party right now is filled with hate. The Democratic Party is filled with hate. Harris and her team are filled with hate for half of America. That's how you don't win an election.
Okay, let me
ask lose.
So another W for MAGA, big W as per usual. That's enough listening to Cenk Uygur for one day. We can only handle so much of that. And with the election just around the corner, the cope and the seethe and the rage from the Democrats is building. And we are seeing it here. They know that they have their backs up against the wall. And they're trying to throw haymakers by calling the Republicans and MAGA supporters Nazis. And it's just not working. It's making them look so much worse. Everybody can see it. And it's pretty delightful as far as we're concerned. So guys, hope you did enjoy that. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, it'll be like right here somewhere. JakeRattleSNK. Check out Tej Hanley. Their links are all going to be below. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you'd like to watch another one, right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.